Routine, episode 20. And as you can tell, special guest, Tommie Jane. This should be by far the most exciting RYLA routine we've had yet. And the reason being is that I think you're going to get some insight on what really makes RYLA happen. And maybe her love for certain people at camp and who she can't stand at camp, Kyle. Just kidding. But seriously though, got Tommie Jane with us. So it's 2012. We as a family jumped into RYLA. Did you get to come to camp the first year?
No.
I
can't. I did not.
Didn't get to, right?
There wasn't really a reason for me to. We didn't really know what it was going to be. So, and I think it was spring break, and I was spring breaking from teaching. So,
Yeah,
I just
didn't have a kid yet,
yeah.
Right? So Matt went on a solo vacation. Tommie Jane, stayed at home. It feels like forever ago, which it was 12 years ago. Like 12 years ago this week.
God.
Last week. 12 years ago last week. So I come back.
No.
So I come back from camp. Like, what's you have any like memories of like some post camp, like anything like that?
I just remember you coming home fired up, and I could not figure out why. I didn't know anything that had happened. I don't remember specific stories, but and I think I've said this almost every year because maybe it's just my personality, but you'd come home talking about kids that would just open up about things they've never opened up about to anybody in their life, and they're talking to strangers about it now. And I probably still don't really understand why, because I don't know that that's my personality, but every year it just breaks open some people that they just, I don't know, they find somebody that they can confide in and just break down walls. So it's pretty awesome.
So you then went to camp in 13, right? With Maddox being like
maybe for like a day or so, because I remember actually not being at camp and losing my keys at Babies R Us and calling you in a panic, and Ron trying to talk me down. So I feel like we drove down and maybe stayed a night, but maybe just came down for a day. But
maybe there's a theme of people losing
no, stop with the keys. Sorry, Ron.
People losing their keys at camp, and Ron talking people down, or being the person that had the keys. So what's your first like RYLA memory when you think of like being at camp? Like, what's the first thing you like acknowledge of camp? Like when you think back, like when I went to camp, this is what I saw.
The first one I really remember coming to, I want to say was 2 days after Sawyer was born. My mom drove Maddox, me, and Sawyer down because I was still not allowed to drive. I've got her in my carry-on because I don't want anybody to touch her. But watching the wall, I think that has become probably my favorite. I have yet to go over the wall, but I think that is probably my favorite just to see, because some are just easy. They hop over, don't need help. But the ones that either are scared to do it and get over it, or some that just, you can just see it on their face. They're like, nope, you guys are not getting me over. Never going to happen. And then they make it up there, and then the tears, and the wall is one of my favorite.
Yeah, I think that's most of the pictures that you see of early Maddox, Devin, Sawyer, etc. always seems to be around the wall. That seems to be like the place where everybody grabbed a picture of like Maddox is a little kid or Sawyer's a little kid.
Saturday tended to be the day that we would come down.
It tended to be the day. What about the first time you guys came and stayed for the whole time? Like, what as you like walk through camp, like what are some things at camp that you think are valuable as somebody who's not? I mean, I put the program together, and you help with staffing, like you help with all the communication and some of the communication stuff, and help with the paperwork side of things and getting background checks done and things like that in the past, and like all the we wouldn't be where we're at if you had to rely on me and my job at the Y plus that. So like when it came to like being there for a full week and really get to see camp, what are some things that, I mean, targets Thursday through Sunday, like what are the things you see as somebody who really doesn't have a job at camp, unless it's like, hey, Matt needs go to Walmart and get, or go here and get. What are some things that you like when you look at the programming from Thursday to Sunday? What's that look like for somebody that's not directly in service per se?
Thursday, my favorite part is the flag thing, flag retiring. I think that's Thursday. I had never seen one before. I want to say last, well, when it started back up, because I think at that point before COVID, my kids were too young and we would go to bed before the flag ceremony. So that was really cool to see. On Friday, God, I gotta remember all the things that happen on each day. I don't know. I enjoy watching my kids with people that they've grown up with, that they get excited to see, and I just really like watching my kids like do things. They really enjoy the dance on Saturday. They really get excited for the dance, more so lately. But it's just really, I just really like my kids have grown up at RYLA. Our kids, I guess, sorry. But I have a hard time trusting my kids, not my kids, but people around my kids. And so knowing that these kids only get to see these people just a few times a year, maybe once a year at RYLA, and they get so excited. So being able to let go and let them kind of branch out on their own, it's exciting for me to watch that part.
What when you think about like the people at camp, I mean, are there key people that you do feel like go above and beyond? Not with our kids, but like you see people in a staff role over time. Are there people that stick out and stand out in supporting camp or supporting kids?
Well, I'm going to go against the grain here and say Kyle. I'm going to speak positively about Kyle. Everybody gives him a hard time. So,
Man,
um,
it took 20 episodes for somebody to do it. Shout out to Kyle.
I can't be mean
It took
to
20.
him.
It took 20 episodes for Kyle to get
You're welcome.
a shout out.
There's lots of things that couldn't be done without Kyle there. I know he's worked before there, so I know he knows a lot of the ways things go. He knows people that run the place. So yeah, it would not work without Kyle. The filming of the videos and all the things and people staying up late and just I mean, I think it's different people some years, so just different people doing those kind of things. I know Kyle's sister Erin does the putting all the videos together and stuff. I see her do it on her computer and I can't, makes me feel old. I can't keep up. I've grown to know more of the kids that have come back. I say kids because you're kids to me. I know Gator, kids really grown up with her. Z, I got to know, oh my God, I'm gonna blank on names now.
You know, Z just published a book.
What?
It published a book.
Gotta get that.
2 days ago.
Did not know that.
2 days ago, Z has a book. Z has a book.
Z is an author. No, I did not know that. So
Yeah.
I need a copy of that.
Yeah, Z's got a book. And then so I didn't know this, but the E Club that all these guys are in, this past week was president-elect training, and Daniel's the next president of that club. And so that'll be, in my belief, he is the first RYLA alumni since Tracy and I took on camp that has served as a president of the club.
Wow.
So
and young too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're young.
Yeah, you've been getting older though, but you're still younger than us.
Yeah. Daniel, again, you guys have been around, I think this whole time, again, I didn't sleep a whole lot the first few years because my kids were really young and didn't sleep. So remembering names was always hard for me. I'm better with faces. Piper, gotten to know Piper a little bit better the last few years. Gonna be a lawyer. Good Lord, good. Glad we need more lawyers. Bethany, my kids adore Bethany. She's always bringing them presents and just
maybe that's
like
why
a big sister. No, no.
If we didn't give them stuff, maybe they wouldn't like
she
hang
brings
out with them.
kangaroos to birthday parties and just randomly. So no, they love Sawyer loves singing with her. She got her out there to sing the national anthem for the flag ceremony this last year and shocked me. She did well. I did not know she was going to do that. So yeah, I mean, I could probably go on, but I need a list. I'm forgetting people.
When it comes to camp and it comes to the purpose of camp, specifically with the leadership components of camp, what are some things you see during camp that promote leadership through what we do?
I think giving kids a voice, or maybe teaching kids how to use their voice. I I feel a lot of times people feel like they are not allowed to disagree. That if you disagree, that we cannot be friends, we cannot be in each other's lives. And that's not the case. You don't have to agree on everything. And I don't get to hang out for agree and disagree all the time anymore with the kids. But things like that, I'm not going to remember all the names, but where they pick their top three, whatever, when they tell why, sometimes we get more information than we expected. But again, these kids are getting to share maybe in a capacity they've not gotten to share in before. So they're learning that they don't have to agree on things, and they're seeing different perspectives maybe than what they've seen before. So I think everybody in the world needs to open their minds up to possibilities of all things and know that we do not have to agree on everything, but we can agree on some things, and agreeing to disagree is still an okay thing. So.
It's interesting, and this is for all redneckery of this, like that's the word. We went to the Bassmaster Classic last night, and there was a guy named Rick Clunn. Rick, 50 years of bass fishing, and like they literally gave him a microphone, and that was the one thing he said. He's like, we will not agree on everything in this room. We talk about agree disagree so much, and Tommie Jane's right. Not getting to be a part of agree disagree and a part of the new day conversation just because of the kids and my desire to keep the kids away from that conversation at the moment. On that side of things, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I think we give young men and young ladies a voice, and teach them how to use their voice. And for some, we share that they should use their voice because they've never used it.
Well, not only that, sorry, it also teaches them to listen, hopefully, and not to just shut everything down the second somebody says something you don't agree with. It shows you that you can hear different perspectives and maybe come at it from a different way. Maybe you say, oh, I like that, and I'm going to take a little bit of what you like and a little bit what I like, and maybe form something different.
Yeah, 110%. I mean, Tommie Jane working with middle school and high school students. Previous to us having kids, our role as a high school coach, and you look at this age, that age of kids, it's the same age of who we're working with, but the positive adult that's in there matters a lot. Speaking of positive adults, and kind of as we segue and move a little bit forward, so the staff applications are due May 1st. Everything's done online with the exception of the essay and headshot. Essays and headshots get mailed to us. If it's incomplete, Tommie Jane will reach out to you and say we need more. But also we have the chaperone application that stays open. When you, we got a cat over here hanging out with us. When you think about the chaperones and you think about the important role that those Rotarians get to play, what are some things that there's people that come to mind. I think those people that we love, our family have become really a part of our family, not just Rotary, but like literally you can say those people are part of our family for the same reason people are being around our kids. But when you see those chaperones and you see maybe it's a 60-year-old Rotarian with a 23-year-old leader with a 17-year-old camper, like the importance of the role that those chaperones play at camp. What do you think about that?
I don't get to see a lot of that. So I don't know exactly what their role is, except to just kind of be a positive ear to maybe listen to some things, or maybe be peacemaker if need be. Again, if kids are not agreeing and they have to kind of show different perspectives and give some life lessons that they've learned amongst their years. Again, those are names that I'm going to have a hard time remembering. I'm better with faces. But this would not be capable without people that have that life experience and are able to be there to guide and maybe help change a perspective if maybe the perspective has not enough experience behind it, or if they've only seen one side. You live your life where you live it, and if you haven't seen other perspectives, might be skewed. Who knows? So I hope that's what it is. I've never been a chaperone myself.
I think the chaperone side of things is really important, is the opportunity to be just that. It's life experience. And the world's ever changing. As Rotarians, we come with a different perspective at times. We come with a perspective of life where my thumbprint, if I'm Tom Cobb and I've got 20 years of RYLA and I've got, years of service as an employee or as a leader in in a company, as a spouse. My thumbprint is, enriched by that, and those Rotarians bring their thumbprint to the table, and that's what is absolutely the purpose of camper, is to be able to share your thumbprint and share that thumbprint with campers, as well as support those young leaders that are CITs and chiefs, and help them.
Well, maybe even help them branch out or relax a little. I would not have been that kid at 17, 18 years old that if somebody told me to do something and I didn't want to do it, I don't know that there would have been any talking me into it. At least not from somebody, a peer,
Yeah.
an adult maybe that I had somehow forged a relationship with or a respect for. Maybe I would have listened and tried to relax a little. I was not really a relaxed kid. Shocking, I know. But I have this same talk with Sawyer a lot, like where you have to learn to just kind of let it happen. Just relax and maybe try something. You might surprise yourself.
What I say this as a family, why as a spouse do you allow us to be committed to the program? Because at the end of the day, if it wasn't valuable to you, if it's valuable to one of us, it doesn't matter. But why does it continue to be something that our family supports and that you as a spouse, because Rotary spouses have to support that. I mean, it's, there's a lot of service projects that you see people. I mean, you look at, Tom and Gloria, if Tom's coming to camp, Gloria's coming to camp, and the sacrifice there, there's a lot of, Tracy and Gary, I mean, Gary's making sacrifices, and Tracy says we're going, odds are Gary's getting the car and going anyway. But what's the sacrifice, right? It's the time that we take away from our family. It's the time we put towards things. And so when you look at 12 years with basically 2 years without camp in there, but those number of camps, the number of days, the number of hours of prep and everything else, it takes away from, I think, in the real world, what you would see as time together. So why do you say it's still a good idea?
I would say there's been some growing pains, especially when the kids were young and we wouldn't come and stay all week. So I was like, Dad's gone for 5 days. It's just Mom, fun. But if you've been to camp or ever listened to this guy talk, when we took vows almost 20 years ago, it was to support one another, especially with things that you are passionate about. It's how he does everything. How you do everything. If you had not come home that first year with this spark that it gave you, it probably would have been a different path. And then once being able to bring the kids and seeing, I don't think they understand quite the leadership part of it yet. They're starting to kind of listen to Ron talk a little more about their elements and hopefully seeing how they can use it and daily. But if I did not see the impact that it has had on the people around us, and it's not about me. If you ever become a parent, if you haven't yet, it stops being about you. Even when you become a wife, it's not always about what I want or need. And same goes. I don't know that I have anything that I've been as passionate about except for being a mom, that he is about his job and about RYLA. But he's allowed me to stay home for 12 years. So he has supported me in that when it's not always been easy. So it's just the benefits. I can't put into words what the benefits have been. The relationship that we've cultivated and continue to. I mean, every year it's somebody new, it seems, that the kids latch on to or look forward to being around. So hopefully one of these days they are that person for maybe somebody else bringing their kids to camp. So I kind of wife would I be if I said, nope, no more RYLA, sorry guys.
Yeah, I think it's the impact on the thumbprint, right? And it's just there was a different paths and different walks, right? So people that made an impact on my life, people that make an impact on Tommie Jane's life, and the ability to know that we're making a difference, I think, is the greatest thing. For if it's otherwise, why do it? I mean, I joke, as much as I joke all the time about Rotarians saying, "Hey, you want to have a kid to have fun?" Some Six Flags, I'll say the same thing about this. If you want to have fun, I could take 4 days and our family go somewhere else. It's not about the fun factor. The fun is a byproduct. It's the opportunity to make a difference. And I think that there's some things to be learned from the fact that you have a well, now 11, 10, and 7-year-old that are looking at you and watching you. And I think at camp, you may not necessarily understand that on day one. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, this kid's watching everything I do. And the same thing's happening for that 17-year-old. The same thing's happening for everybody in our lives that are around us, but it's magnified when it's a kid, because the kid doesn't have a filter. The kid will just tell you what they see.
And he'll repeat what you say.
And so I think that that's a big piece of that is the impact of the thumbprint. The impact on the thumbprint for us, right? You know, Tommie Jane says that about Kyle, but the reality of it is I literally went back. I think it would have been this month, back in 2012 or 2011, and when I first met Ron. It's almost 13 years I've known Ron. And literally the first time I met Ron was literally somebody handed me a sheet of paper, and I introduced him, and I'd never met him. I didn't even shake his hand until I literally never shook the guy's hand until on stage. I'd never met the guy. And here we sat to, where, Ron and I had a 45-minute long conversation yesterday about, hey, Daniel's the president of the E Club, and Daniel was in the audience, and Brett was there, and Kathy was there, and Pam was there, and John was there, and on and on and on about all these people that had RYLA connections over at president-elect training this past weekend. And I think that without that relationship, I'd be a different person too. I think we all would. If there's different people in RYLA and different people in our lives that make us better. And I think there's a lot of people that when it comes to camp make each other better. And that's my stupid answer would be that's exactly what Tommie Jane does for me. This makes me better.
Growing up, I always liked to help. My grandma was a teacher. I always liked to help grade and help do whatever I could. And I don't know that I ever had a word for it until this guy started talking about service. And that word has just spoken to me. Obviously, I've volunteered now for lots of things, getting into kids' schools and doing PTO things, and then the RYLA. So, I mean, just being able to help out and make an impact, that's the biggest thing so far.
Yeah, I mean, service, that's what it is, the service of myself. And that's the opportunity that we have come, between now and May 1st, you got to determine if you're going to be a part of that next group. If you're part of that next group that wants to serve. Any questions on the application, hit me up. I've had some folks, text me. That's the best way to get the answer. Just shoot me a text. At the same time, again, congratulations to Daniel, first RYLA alumni since 2012 that I know of. Yeah, standing up. Sitting over because like
I stand
is like really small. And so kudos to Daniel for that. Kudos to everybody. I committed when we left camp to do something every day, and that was to make sure social gave us an opportunity to share kindness like confetti, like Tommie Jane's shirt says, and make sure you saw RYLA in a little different light every day. There was a reminder on social, Instagram, and Facebook, and Bethany and Aaron made sure that we had some great photos to support that, videos, etc. Ron made sure this past Saturday that the first thing he did at president-elect training was share the RYLA video, not because he had to, because he wanted to, because it was about relationships. We've had 20 weeks of people taking time with me to talk about a relationship with others and the kindness that comes from that. And we've officially worked our way through all leadership, officially worked our way through everybody in my household. So now we're going to dive into these. We can't get into the cats and dogs. They won't talk back. Slider's the only one with real experience. And if it's a Frisbee, he's good to go. Other than that, it's at RYLA, he's not necessarily engaged in activity. But we're going to start working through some of these CITs and folks that want to come back to camp and maybe put them in the hot seat and find out why they want to come back to camp. Really dive into chaperones and give us an opportunity here over the next 8 to 10 weeks to really understand why people want to continue to invest in camp. But we appreciate everything you do. And I say we because, again, it is a team. Gary and Tracy are the same way. Ron and Monique are the same way. The opportunity to have somebody else that's in this with you. And that relationship is so important. So
sorry, I didn't say Ron and Tracy and Gary when I was talking earlier. I told you I'd forget people.
So you guys are awesome. RYLA Routine episode 20 is tied up. So look forward to next week with a brand new group of faces. We're going to hit it heavy and hit it hard with getting into some folks that are campers from maybe last year. We may even go back to some alumni that have been campers, 7, 8 years back that aren't necessarily at camp anymore. Maybe it's somebody that has a kid now. Maybe it's somebody that's married now that, you know what, RYLA's not on their radar every day because of being at camp, but they absolutely have some things they tie back to RYLA. So I'll be looking forward to getting a hold of some folks. May 1st applications are due for CITs, chiefs, media, and leadership. Chaperones could fill that out anytime as well. I know we've got a good chunk of chaperones already. Got 10 that are committed. That's awesome. It's not a race, but the quicker those things get in, the better they are. Same thing on the CIT and chief side. If we can help out with any questions, let us know. Episode 20 with Tommie Jane. Y'all have an awesome day and stay blessed.